Hi there, this is CuriousCat, and welcome to my first Scrolls Judgment drafting video. I'm going to be doing a Judgment draft and explaining my picks and sort of my thought process for picking Scrolls and assembling a Judgment deck. Judgment is my favorite game mode. I think it's more varied than Ranked, and you see a lot of different strategies, and you're forced to play different strategies depending on the scrolls you get, and what spells, what creatures, what special abilities they have. So I find that interesting and varied. So let's jump right into the picking process here. Okay, so to start out is the hardest part for me in Judgment Draft is to try to figure out what color you're gonna get. You usually want to get one main color. If you can go all one main color, that's obviously the best, but that usually doesn't quite work out, and you have to have a few scrolls of a different color. So usually you want 1 or 2 cost scrolls right now. With the way Wild works, 3 cost is pretty expensive, so you can get a 3 cost scroll for your second color, but it better be something really powerful. And then 4 costs has to be really, really powerful, and something that would be a very late game scroll that you wouldn't be playing early. And you probably would only go for a 4 cost if you had some kind of ramping scroll, a cross ramp scroll or ramping scroll in general, that would help you get resources without having to sacrifice 2 cards for it. So to start off here, usually it's best to look for powerful cards or low-cost splashing cards, strong creatures. This is a very, very, very poor start. I see, there's very few creatures. There's 1 creature here, no creatures here, 2 creatures here. So the only creatures I'm seeing are Decay. Pestis Simulator is okay in Judgment. It can be a good comeback scroll. It can have a nice area of effect, attack, or it can poison multiple creatures and eventually remove them from the board. It's a little bit slow. If you could combo it with Bombard or some kind of countdown reduction, Blessing of Haste, you can really catch the opponent off guard and use its effect to full. Usually the opponent will be able to position its pieces to minimize its attack if it's attacking without some kind of surprise countdown reduction. Slayer is slow. It's okay. Desperation is a good splashing scroll, especially for unrelentless units or piercing units. You can take out a lot of units very quickly. Erode is interesting. It's a cross ramp scroll. Decay and growth. But I would, it's a lot to commit to 2 different colors on the first drafting pick. So I don't know. The best creatures, obviously, in my mind, it's the Pestis Simulator. I know Slayer is fairly popular, but it's mostly good in undead decks where you get Restless Bones and things of that nature. I'm tempted to take the Desperation just as a low-cost splashing scroll. Decay is a little bit weak right now in Judgment. It's a little bit weak in Ranked. It's also a little bit weak in Judgment. You can get a good deck together. You don't see it as often in Judgment as probably the other colors. Energy is also difficult to assemble enough creatures. One of the main things that you need in Judgment is to get as many creatures as possible. You need to get at least 15 creatures. Decks with less than 15 creatures really struggle, have a lot of dead draws. 15 to 20 creatures is really what you want to look for, and it's the way the Judgment drafting works. it's usually a struggle to get to 15 creatures, and you kind of have to pick every creature that you get in your color. So to only have one color that has any creatures in the first draft is in the first page of Scrolls is very disappointing to me. So I guess I could assume I'm gonna go Decay and pull this card, or any one of these other three. This would be potentially a splashable card. I think Desperation is probably the most powerful card. I like to have comeback scrolls, and Desperation is a good comeback scroll, or can provide a lot of card advantage. Pest Assimilator can also provide a lot of card advantage, but it's more expensive and would require to actually go Decay, whereas Desperation could be paired with Order, or maybe I could go Mono Energy and get some Canonettas or Storm Runners and really clear the board with this thing. So I think I'm going to take Desperation. Okay, so I got a couple of Order creatures down here. That's good. Order is very, very powerful in Judgment right now. It has a lot of good common cards like Storm Knight and the Gallant Defender and Righteous Partisan. And if you can draw a bunch of those, and the Skirmishers, obviously, if you can draw a bunch of those, and it also has some powerful common spells like Focus and Transposition, and just really catch your opponent off guard. So it has a lot of things that are good. I think Growth and Order are probably the two strongest factions right now. Growth also has a lot of good common creatures with one countdown, like Wetland Ranger and Earthborn Keeper, and then you can buff them up with a common Earthen Mirth to make them attack with an insane amount of damage every turn. And with Wetland Ranger, a 5/1/4 creature is very hard for your opponent to deal with in Judgment. So I really like Order. I kind of want to continue to try to go Order, but these two Order spells are two of my least favorite. This one is good, against Infectious Blight, or if you combo it with, I don't know. I guess it could be sort of a healing spell, but it's got some weird combos, but in general it's hard to use. Electricity is pretty terrible. It only does 1 damage per structure, so it's very situational. Divine Mark. I guess that's okay for resurrecting a very powerful creature, and potentially creating a blocker against Relentless Eudrits. Arthritis is good for dealing with charge coils, which are a common in Energy that you see quite a lot. Sometimes you face decks with 5 charge coils, and it can really lock down your board. So if I were to go Energy, Metal Heart, Feedback Jolt is expensive for a splash. Metal Heart depends on having structures, which I don't usually like to have a lot of structures. None of these cards are really that good. I think I'll just go with the Arthritis, maybe, and then take the Husk. So, got some more Decay scrolls. Eager Scryer is a pretty decent Decay scroll. And Outcast Roll, not really a great growth scroll, but it's a good, chump blocker is what I usually use it for. And if you get him to attack, then it's bonus gravy. And then Concentrate Fire is really only good in a energy range deck. It's very hard to use unless you're going mono energy. So there, I see Decay, maybe. Or Mire Curse is also reasonably good. Puppet Soldier can be good if you get like Horn of Ages, which is a common order spell. This is tricky because I really, really want this Skirmisher if I'm going to go order, which I'm hoping to go order, but I've got 2 Decay creatures, and these other spells aren't really good. I guess I could consider going Growth now with Outcast Revel and Earthbound, but these are neither of them are really exciting growth cards. But there's not a lot of excitement on this whole board except Skirmisher. I really like. Mire Curse is okay. It gives you a good area of effect damage and can wipe out a lot of low-cost chump-blocking creatures, and mess up your opponent's positioning. Let's go with the Husk and see what happens. Interesting. So, Ragged Wolf. Ragged Wolf is a good card, but is it enough to get me to try to go Growth? Fungify is kind of hard to use. It's good for turning a chump blocker into a major obstruction. So you put it on like a Husk, and then all of a sudden you've got a 7 health Husk in front that it's pretty hard for your opponent to deal with. And then you got the Eager Scryer behind, pounding away at him. Should I go with Puppet Soldier and hope for Horn of Ages? Or should I go with Mire Curse? I think I'll go with Mire Curse. It's more splashable. And then Eager Scryer. Eager Scryer I can just take as a splash card. Oh. Eager Scryer and Pillar of Fatigue. So this is an interesting combo because when Eager Scryer's countdown is 2 or more at the end of his turn, you draw a scroll. So if you put down the Pillar of Fatigue first, and then the next turn you put down the Eager Scryer, or the same turn if you have the 6 Decay, you can move him immediately, and then his countdown becomes 2. You get a scroll at the end of the turn. And then if you keep moving him while you have the Pillar of Fatigue on the board, you draw a scroll every single turn. He never attacks, but you get a free scroll every turn. And that can give you a lot of extra scrolls. And I like Pillar of Fatigue. I think it's a really interesting scroll that changes the whole structure of the game. And so people who aren't used to playing on a board where a Pillar of Fatigue is present can really struggle. And it changes the game into a much different logic puzzle than it normally is. And so it's interesting. And there's not as much countdown reduction, which is one of the counters for it in ranked, is that if you're facing against Growth and they play Rally, and then all of a sudden you can't move, but they can move whenever they want. And plus they have hasted creatures, and it's a little bit easier. It's a little bit easier to lock down the board in Judgment because there's not as much removal. There's not as much countdown reduction. So I'm going to start to go Decay, I think, here. Fungify. Oh, yeah, good. Another... Ooh. Oblivion Seeker is a very strong Decay scroll. So this is looking maybe doable. So anything that can give you card advantage in Judgment is powerful, or in ranked that's powerful. So so it could take Atrophy, which I find is a fairly weak spell. Obviously it's only 1 cost, so it's not expected to be that powerful, but It can help you sometimes, so maybe I should just take it. Right now, interestingly, I have all decay except for one energy scroll. So anyways, I blew through a couple of picks really quickly here. Let's look at what we got. So we have a Muto Fighter, a decay creature, and going decay. We want to pull as many decay creatures as possible, and these other cards would be good if we were going energy, but not splashable. 3 cost is splashable for powerful cards, but that's not powerful enough. So, and then there's another decay creature. We already have one of those. These aren't splashable. Ragged Wolf is splashable if we want to go to growth. I was trying to think of splash cards in growth. It's not a faction I splash that often. If I could get like a Return to Nature or something, or that Erode. I should have picked the Erode in the first row, but yeah. Maybe I'll just go Atrophy. I like Ragged Wolf. You can combo it with like Curse and take out a creature unexpectedly, which Decay has trouble with any kind of unexpected behavior. But I'd really rather splash Order. Order has better splash spells. Atrophy. Atrophy could be a good early game spell too. There's a lot of strategy in the early game of who gets the initial board control, who gets their first creature down, and who can respond to that creature, and all of that gamesmanship that happens early on. And anything like a Blessing of Haste or some kind of you don't get to attack spell that's low cost can help change the outcome of that. Whereas Ragged Wolf is a creature. I'm just going to take the Ragged Wolf. Cursemonger is also a very powerful decay scroll, so that's going well. I think I'm just going to plow through and take the 3 decay creatures here. That seems like the obvious choice. These scrolls aren't really very powerful. Prisoners of War is a very situational card for a situational deck. Lingering is not very powerful in Judgment. Anything that affects the whole board is hard to take advantage of because you can't make like a Knight deck or a Rat King based deck or something like that. And so the decks tend to be more similar in terms of their makeup, and a lot of the whole board lingering effects require you, or a lot of the lingering effects in general require you to have sort of a specific deck. This is sort of a meta lingering scroll. It's the Lingering Hate, and also lets you draw another lingering, which I'm not going to have another lingering. Anyways, Ripper is a very solid creature, and you need as many solid creatures as possible. Bitterroot is, it's a meh structure. It's better in Judgment than in Ranked, as a lot of things are, but Ripper is hard to take turn up. Draining Mist is very powerful in Judgment. So one of the things, you don't see Draining Mist too often in Ranked because there's so much countdown removal that counters it. And you play Draining Mist, they play Rallying, and then you're in trouble. In Judgment, there's less countdown removal, so Draining Mist can be very painful. And in Judgment, you definitely want to get some sort of countdown removal. I mean, obviously in Rank, you want some kind of countdown manipulation, usually reduction. In Judgment, you want either reduction or increase. So since in Rank there's a lot of countdown reduction, most of the countdown increase spells don't get played a lot. Infiltrate might be a counterexample of that, but because it's a cantrip. But the Draining Mist, Faith Duty are much more powerful in Judgment and can really win you a lot of games. I've had Draining Mist win me games before, and it's way better than another Ragged Wolf. So Stitcher is an interesting Decay creature. Obviously we want Decay creatures. Machination Mindset is interesting. Splash card, I don't have any really high attack creatures yet. I guess Mudo Fighter, sort of Decay doesn't have a lot of ooh, got a Witch Doctor. Decay doesn't have a lot of high attack creatures. Witch Doctor has 4. Stitcher can make it bigger, but I guess I can't pull Stitcher and Machination Mindset at the same time. But obviously, so here we are, 14 cards. We've got 7 creatures in Decay. We're doing quite well on creatures, but more is often better. I'm going to go with Stitcher. Witch Doctor is a very powerful card. This is going to be... It's shaping up to be a... Wow. Shaping up to be a powerful Decay deck, Halls of Amlasa. So this is one of the exceptions for Lingering. It's a powerful Lingering spell that is powerful in Judgment as well. It's not as powerful. You can't keep redrawing your Necrogeddons over and over again because you don't have a Necrogeddon, but it just gives you card advantage. And Beetlestone is terrible in Judgment. It's the Righteous Partisan. So Animivore can be very interesting if you can get a Scavenger Construct to put it on. If I could get a Scavenger Construct, this deck would be very, very powerful. I think I'm just going to go with this Beetlestone and try to go Mono Decay. Just use it as a chump blocker, and then get the Animivore, hope for a Scavenger Construct. Ooh, a Rod Eater. This is nice. Okay, here we go. Oh, another Rod Eater. Oh my gosh. Okay. Wow, Uneasy Alliance. That's very good. Like I was saying, Decay doesn't have a lot of high attack creatures. Rod Eater is probably a good exception to that. But an Uneasy Alliance is one of the few attack buffs that Decay has, and it'll be really good to get on this Eager Scryer, so I can combo the Eager Scryer either with the Pillar of Fatigue or the Uneasy Alliance. So the one thing I don't have any of, and it's really nice to have, is removal. Decay has some soft removal spells or slow removal like Brain Lice, and soft removal like Languid. Although that's not what you really want. One of the things that you find in Judgment is that because there's less removal, there's more, and there tends to be more scrolls, spells, and enchantments because people struggle to get enough creatures. Just the randomness of it forces people to end up with a little bit higher percentage of spells and enchantments often. And so you'll often see like the one big creature that's super powerful, has a lot of enchantments on it, and if you have some way to remove that, or the creature in back that you can't get to that just keeps pummeling you. But I haven't seen any removal, but I'll keep my eye out. My creature count is really strong right now. 11 creatures, not even halfway through. That's like 22 creatures pace. Probably the creatures will dry up. That's usually how these things run. I mean, I have pulled all Decay except for 2 off-color. That is very unusual to be halfway through the draft and to only be forced to draw 2 other cards, 2 other color cards. Usually you get rows, I don't even have one here, where there's no Decay at all. So I'm just going to keep going mono Decay. Luckling Boot is terrible in Judgment. I had a deck with 4 of them, and because there's so many spells and enchantments, it's impossible to keep them alive more than one turn. So, Watcher, interesting. I'm not a big fan of Idle Hate. Another Beetlestone. Does Watcher work with Beetlestones? It probably does. It says units. I've never tried to make a Beetlestone strategy work. But having 2 Beetlestones in Judgment, I could pull it off. And a Watcher to accelerate it. I think that's crazy. But I don't have any unstable... I don't have any Darklings or anything to finish off the game. I don't know. I'm really tempted to just go full-on creature spam, though, at this point. Just overwhelm my opponent with, like, 20 creatures or something, which Decay can be very good at. I think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to ignore this. Faith Duty, like I said, I really like Faith Duty, but it's looking like I'm not going to need to splash anything the way this draft is going. Here's finally a row without any Decay in it. So Caparado is a pretty good splash card. It's only 1 cost. Can get immediate value for having to sacrifice. Frostgale it doesn't combo with Curse anymore, so it's really not worth splashing, probably. So I'd probably go Energy. So should I take this other Beetlestone, though? That's the real question. I don't think the Watcher is something I want, but it could go with the Beetlestone. I don't think so. Beetlestones are kind of annoying. Then you just keep drawing Beetlestones, and you're kind of committed to the whole, like, I'm just going to randomly attack your idols until you're dead thing, which could be good if all of his idols are at 1 health or something, but it's not usually the way it works out. So I'm running out of Decay. Just going to go with the 1 cost. Here's some removal, pretty weak removal, but it's something. Or I could go with summons if I can get a Scavenger Construct. This will help me draw it and combo it with my Animivore. Cantrips are good in Judgment. The decks are already so small that any cantrips you have make your deck like ridiculously small. And you're cycling your decks constantly and getting to your good spells, and Halls of Amlasa could help with that. Oblivion Seeker. So basically I'm just constantly spewing out, cycling through my deck, and if I lose my Witch Doctor, I'll get him back almost immediately. Don't have any others. Well, I mean, all of these things, like this whole Pillar of Fatigue and Eager Scryer, helps you assemble your combos together if you have a lot of cantrips. These are both cantrips, really, so I'm tempted to go with the summons. I've got a Beetlestone, yeah, great. Or the Pillar of Fatigue. I think I'm going to go with the summons. Kabonk can be really useful, but I'm not sure I'm even going to splash at all. So I already have a Fungify. Purification, I think, is probably more useful. Or Revenant. Interesting. I've got 2 Rod Eaters. And I've got Grizzly Graph. You could put on a Revenant and Grizzly Graft him, or use him as Stitcher, or just whatever. Do I want to just go mono? How close am I to going mono? Wow, I'm really close to going mono. I'm almost certainly going to go mono. I think I'm going to go with the Revenant. Do I have anything other than the Rod Eaters? Oh, Animivore. Things that benefit from death effects. Just the Animivore and the Rod Eaters right now. I guess theoretically you could lump in Stitcher and Grizzly Graft into that. They require death. Good old Night Scholar. This would be a great row if I was going Growth or Order. Omen of Damnation. Not a big fan. Life Stealer, I am a big fan. Life Stealer can be very hard to remove in Judgment. 5 health with healing. Could be a big problem. Festering Freak is been buffed, and now it's pretty powerful, but I think Life Stealer is even better. And better for my curve. I don't have any 5-drops. I don't know. This row doesn't matter. I'm never gonna play any of these cards. I guess I'll take the Omen of Damnation. These signs aren't good enough to splash. I'm gonna go with the Life Stealer, as I talked about before. A Mangy Rat is a pretty cruddy creature, but these are not splashable scrolls. So we got another Eager Scryer that's really good. This is a dead row. Damning Curse is the removal that I talked about, so I'm going to take that. That's really nice to have. If they go crazy on one creature, they'll be in for a big surprise. Tick Bomb is a really good spell to have in Judgment to counteract the strategy that I'm going for, which is the Animivore construct. Here's another Animivore. I just need to construct. You can also play Animivore on Rod Eaters in a pinch, which I might end up doing. I've got a couple of Rod Eaters. And another Eager Scryer is good, better than Arthritis. I think I'll get another Animivore. It's good card draw. Like I said, even on a Rod Eater, or even if you play it on some random chump creature, you can get good card value out of it. Blade Husk is pretty slow. Can be good near the end. It's weak. I don't know. It doesn't do a lot for me. Meyer Shamper's really good early, and I've already got 2 Eager Scryers. If I could get 3 Eager Scryers and the Pillar of Fatigue going, like, game over, dude. Oh, here's the Return to Nature. Do I have any 1-drops? Do I even care? Got a lot of 1-drops. What the heck? Yeah, I've got a lot of 1-drops. I don't need Meyer Shambler. I'm going to go with Eager Scryer. Return to Nature. I'm going to have a hard time picking now. I'm going to have so many scrolls. I've got over 30 already. Even mono is going to be hard. So just taking something random there. Tethered Recruit is good if I was going to go with Order, but I think Husk would be better. I probably won't pull the Husk either. Blight Bearer can be really strong. I'm not sure if it's best with my strategy of like crazy numbers of creatures. It might be more of an annoyance to my board to try to work around him than... how many creatures do I have? 20 creatures? Oh my gosh. Restless Bones. Interesting. Do I have a tribesman? Yeah, I'm just going to take the Blight Bearer. I guess I'll take the Restless Bone. Maybe the Omen. Did I take the Omen? I did take Omen already. I don't need 2 Omens. I don't know if I need Restless Bones, but it's a good rare. Let's see. So, in terms of one of the things that you occasionally want to look at is what kind of reward cards you got. I have a full play set, so I usually just go for whatever's worth the most money. Halls I think is pretty valuable right now. Witch Doctor is not. I don't know about these other ones. But Restless Bones is probably pretty valuable because Undead Decay is pretty popular right now. A second Uneasy Alliance or a Mire Curse or a Soul Scrounger. I don't think I want the Soul Scrounger, although it's interesting to put that on something like the Life Stealer, because combined with his healing ability, if he's attacking all the time, it can be kind of... Oh, I definitely need the Uneasy Alliance because of my numerous eager Scryers. And I already have 1 Mire Curse, so I have a lot of creatures. Attack buffs are good. Also, having 2 of these gives you a really weird removal. If you're in a pinch, I'd be unlikely to use it that way so if I have Damning Curse, but you can play Uneasy Alliance on a creature you're going to kill, and then the other Uneasy Alliance on the creature you really, really want to take out. It's terrible for card advantage, but if that other creature is a really big problem, it can be worth it. Alright, so into the deck building. So I'm just going to pull all of the Decay scrolls out. I'm going to get rid of Arthritis. I don't like Mangy Rat. Usually I'd pull out these Husks, but with the Restless Bones, maybe I should save them. Never did get a Scavenger construct, so maybe 2 Animivores is too many. Although I have so many creatures, maybe... Oh, Beetlestone, I don't want that. Fungify, I'm kind of question marking. Although I got... Do I want Return to Nature? I'm not even sure. Do I want Grizzly Graft? I don't have anything Relentless. Grizzly Gaff can be a good, like, surprise game finisher. But I don't think that I want Grizzly Graft. Let's look at the high end. I want all of this stuff. These 2 are question marks. Omen of Damnation. I don't have any... I didn't get any Darklings. 1 damage. I didn't get any Our Heart's Disciples either. Sometimes you get stuck where you just have 1 idol left on 2 health and the other guy's got the board locked down and you're like, if I could just have 1 Darkling, I would win the game. So it's always nice to have something. There's no unstable. It's always nice to have a little bit of a direct idle damage. But this one is pretty weak. It's random and only 1 damage per creature. I don't think that's what I want. I think I'm going to keep the restless bones and the husks. I could also potentially work with this pillar of fatigue, having a little bit of countdown reduction. Can make for a surprise play. Return to nature. Can help with low attack. Don't know. It's kind of expensive. They took taxing off of it. What else have I got to get rid of? These are all good. Fungify, sure, why not? Don't know, I probably don't want 2 animivores, I don't know. You could put him on Oblivion Seeker too. Or another thing that is a good animivore target is a Life Stealer, because he has this healing ability. You can get extra value out of it that way. I could just get rid of one of these husks. I have this Restless Bones. I need to get rid of 2 cards. 2 cards, 2 cards. So I like the 20 creatures. I could get rid of a crappy creature like the Revenant or the Husk. This combos with my 2 animivores, and these combo with my Restless Bones. And so one of the things you really want to look for in Judgment is combos, powerful combos. So those are some powerful combos. I got a Cursemonger, which can combo with Mire Cursed to take people out unexpectedly. Combo the Eager Scryer with the Uneasy Alliances. I have to be careful about that, because if I put it on 2 separate Eager Scryers, then if he kills one, then they both die. But they'll both be 5 attack, which would be like crazy. Oh, they changed that. It just gets 2 attack now. Huh, that's interesting. This guy's a good jump blocker, especially in the early game. Probably I'm just going to get rid of this Revenant. Although he's undead too. So I could do like a Revenant Restless Bones combo. Because he has 1 countdown. That would be a good surprise attack. It's kind of crazy. I'm really having a hard time getting rid of these last 2 scrolls. Maybe I should just get rid of this Fungify. Oh, wait, Fungify. That would combo with an Eager Scryer also, wouldn't it? Yeah, I'm going to keep the Fungify. I think I'm just going to get rid of the husk. Maybe I should get rid of the Restless Bones. Maybe get rid of these Mudo Fighters. Return to Nature. Return to Nature would be good for clearing out, like, if owls and Sisters of the Fox and mangy rats and stuff like that. I really wanted to get rid of that. I think probably want to ditch a creature. And probably should be one of these one-cost creatures. Or the Animivore, but I really like the idea of just going crazy with Animivore and having a lot of creatures and getting cards when they die, like these Revenants, and I don't know, comboing them with the Fungify, and yeah, you could Fungify an Animivore or something. Just interesting combos. So I guess I'll get rid of another husk. I'm just going to keep this as a weird surprise combo of Revenant and Restless Bones and comboing with Animivore. Maybe not the best idea, but the other thought would be to get rid of these Muda Fighters. They're 2 health. They're very, very fragile. But they have very high attack, and one of the few things I have that have 4 attack, so I'm hesitant to get rid of them. So I think I'm going to call this my deck, and save the deck. 30 creatures, so I got 18 creatures, that's great. It's mono decay, that's awesome. 1 structure, the Pillar Fatigue, 5 spells, 6 enchantments. These are all really good numbers. You want at least 15 creatures. 18 is a really high, really solid number of creatures. Plus, I have some cantrips, so that's going to be quite enough creatures. 20 is just basically a creature spam deck. You don't want to have too many structures, and you don't want to have too many spells. You definitely don't want to have too many enchantments, because you can just draw a bunch of enchantments but not have any creatures to put them on. I've got removal. I've got I don't have much in the way of countdown reduction or manipulation. I have this to increase opponent's countdown, and I've got this to reduce my own countdown. There is this, which is countdown manipulation, but not in a good way. This just locks the board down. But this combined with my 3 Eager Scryers could be really dangerous for opponents. Okay, that's my deck. I'm going to call it good. Curious now how many humans I have to come with my Witch Doctor. I have a lot of humans. This could be a 5-0 deck. Anything that's mono has a good chance of going 5-0. So I usually at this point take a picture of what cards that I took so I can remember what they were. I forgot to bring my phone. Plus I'm recording this video. I can always look at that. Maybe I should use my iPad. Taking a picture of my deck. The curve looks awesome. You want to have a curve like this that has some 1 cost, some 2 costs, a lot of 3 costs, so some 4, 5, 6 costs. This is, maybe you want a couple of more high-end creatures, but other than that, this is really good. And for Judgment, this is really, really good. 3x Scryer plus Pillar of Fatigue / Uneasy Alliance and Witch Doctor, Damning Curse, Halls, 2x Animal Roar, plus Life Stealer. I usually like to name my deck with the combos that I found. / 2x Rot Eater. Just to help me remind me when I'm playing what the combos are, so I can hold on to those cards maybe and wait for the combos to come. Alright, well, thanks for watching my Judgment drafting video for the drafting part, and then I'm going to cut it here and either make a separate video for the game playing, or maybe I'll splice them together later if I get ambitious. But thanks for watching, and tune in next time for my next Judgment drafting video. And this has been CuriousCat, and thanks for watching.